Tonight, in a move that has sent shockwaves across the country, the Supreme Court has issued an emergency order halting the implementation of stricter background checks on certain firearm sales, an unexpected decision that has immediately captured the nation's attention and sparked intense debate. This abrupt move has left millions of Americans reeling, as communities everywhere try to process what this means for public safety and individual rights. The decision, made without the benefit of full public deliberation or oral arguments, instantly upends gun regulations nationwide. It throws law enforcement agencies and state officials into confusion, forcing them to quickly adapt to a new legal landscape with little guidance. For gun control advocates, it's a sudden and significant setback. Years of work toward tighter regulations are now in jeopardy, and many fear for the potential consequences on community safety. For Second Amendment supporters, however, this is seen as a major victory for constitutional rights and personal freedoms, reinforcing their belief in the right to bear arms without excessive government interference. The order, delivered with little explanation or detailed reasoning, sets a temporary national standard on a deeply divisive issue, leaving many to wonder about the court's intentions and the future of gun laws in America. This moment spotlights a growing debate. Would the Supreme Court have the power to make society-altering decisions in the blink of an eye, without public hearings, transparency, or comprehensive written opinions? The speed and secrecy of this action highlight a pattern that's troubling legal experts and judges alike, raising concerns about accountability and the erosion of public trust in the judicial process. As we unpack this order and its far-reaching implications, we confront bigger questions about the changing nature of the Supreme Court, its growing influence over American life, and what this means for the rights and responsibilities of every citizen. Even before today's order, federal judges across the country were quietly raising alarms about a growing trend that's reshaping the way justice is delivered in America. Their concern centers on the Supreme Court's increasing use of rapid emergency decisions, often made without full briefings or oral arguments. Judges from both political parties, regardless of their personal beliefs, say these sudden, late-night orders undermine their careful work and create widespread legal instability. Imagine months, sometimes years, of careful review, research, and deliberation by lower courts erased in an instant by a one-paragraph Supreme Court directive. This is now a common reality for many judges. Judges argue that bypassing the normal, evidence-based process not only weakens the entire judiciary, but also erodes public trust in the legal system. Their main concern isn't about losing individual cases or having their decisions overturned, but about the process itself being short-circuited, leaving important legal questions unresolved and the public confused. The growing rift between the Supreme Court and lower courts threatens the stability of our entire legal system, making it harder for judges to do their jobs and for citizens to understand the law. When the High Court intervenes early and often, it sends a message that the work of lower courts is secondary, creating unpredictability, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness throughout the judiciary, raising serious questions about the future of American justice. The tool behind these swift decisions is called the shadow docket, a term for Supreme Court orders made outside the usual public process. Once reserved for minor issues, the shadow docket now decides major cases on immigration, elections, and gun rights, often in days or weeks. There are no public arguments, just brief written submissions, and the orders are typically unsigned and unexplained. Though technically temporary, these decisions often have lasting real-world effects. The shadow docket gives the court immense power to shape national policy without public scrutiny or detailed reasoning. What was once rare is now routine, letting the majority advance outcomes without building a public legal argument. Critics warn this practice threatens the court's legitimacy and the rule of law itself. These emergency orders have immediate, life-altering consequences. Today's gun ruling suspends stricter background checks, allowing firearm sales that would have been blocked just yesterday, directly impacting community safety. On the other side, some see their rights restored overnight. This pattern repeats. Shadow docket decisions have enabled executions, changed immigration policy, and upended lives, often before full legal review. Temporary orders can have permanent effects, as seen with discharged transgender service members or families affected by immigration rulings. The lack of explanation leaves those impacted feeling powerless and disenfranchised. The court's early interventions often pick winners before the legal process is complete. The human cost of these unexplained rapid rulings is immense, creating a sense of injustice that lingers long after the headlines fade. The shadow docket's biggest flaw is its silence. Major decisions come with no explanation. Unlike regular rulings, there's no detailed opinion to guide lower courts, lawyers, or lawmakers. Today's Second Amendment order offered no rationale, leaving judges guessing how to handle future cases. This uncertainty undermines legal precedent and makes the system feel arbitrary. The lack of transparency fuels public suspicion and mistrust, especially when decisions align with political agendas. The court's authority depends on the persuasive power of its reasoning. Unexplained orders erode that foundation. Each silent ruling chips away at public respect for the law and the court's legitimacy. The Supreme Court's reliance on the shadow docket is eroding public trust in the judiciary. Courts have no armies or budgets. Their power comes from the belief that decisions are fair and based on law. Secretive, unexplained rulings make the court look political, not impartial. This perception spreads, undermining confidence in all courts and threatening the idea of an independent judiciary. Judges warn that if trust is lost, people may stop respecting court decisions, weakening the rule of law. Transparency isn't just a nicety, it's essential for democracy. Without clear explanations, the judiciary risks being seen as just another political branch, making trust hard to rebuild. The shadow docket controversy is about more than just court procedure. It's a critical issue of accountability and the future of democracy itself. This debate touches the very core of how justice is perceived and delivered in our society. Transparent rulings allow for scrutiny, debate, and future challenges. The shadow docket removes that essential check. Without transparency, the public cannot fully engage with or understand the decisions that affect their lives. The resulting confusion and demoralization strain the judiciary, which should be the government's steady anchor. A judiciary in turmoil can lead to a loss of public trust and confidence in the legal system. This debate asks a fundamental question: do we want a justice system that's open and accountable, or one that's fast and opaque? The choice we make will shape the future of our legal landscape. Justice must not only be done, but be seen to be done. Secrecy is the enemy of public faith. When justice is shrouded in secrecy, it erodes the very foundation of trust that democracy is built upon. For democracy to truly thrive, institutions must be transparent and accountable, including the courts. This transparency ensures that the public remains informed and engaged, fostering a healthy democratic process. The trend of secret monumental decisions is a dangerous departure from the principles that give courts legitimacy. It threatens to undermine the very essence of justice and fairness. Restoring transparency and reasoned explanation is vital to safeguarding our system and ensuring justice remains a public virtue. Only through openness can we maintain the integrity and trust necessary for a functioning democracy.